guys, welcome to Black Diesel Garage. I'm Gabe, and in this video we're going to get started actually mounting this flatbed correctly to the 96 7.3 crew cab dually 4x4 IDI pickup. And yes, they don't come with an IDI. This one actually came with a 460, and then I put a 5.0 with an automatic two-wheel drive out of an F350, which was not a good idea. And now it has a ZF5 5-speed with a 7.3, so that's a little better fitted for the truck. But looks like my father-in-law hooked up a battery charger to it and everything and connected the powers on the truck, so I guess I didn't need to bring my wrenches, but I probably need the starting fluid, so I'm gonna go ahead and shoot some starting fluid at this thing and see if it starts. It sat here for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks maybe, probably. So what we're doing is there's a gap right in here. You can see the wheel well's not centered. It's bumping into the hitch, and it has no gooseneck ball. So here's some metal to mount it, and what I kind of hope, probably won't happen today, but what I hope to get done with this is put some metal on it to mount it, get it forward where it belongs, probably cut the hitch off, and mount this BMW gooseneck ball into the bed here. And then I'll worry about building fenders for it that stick out and cover the tire. I'll worry about that some other time and making it all match up in here and match the wheel. And it was a welding bed. Quite a few little things I want to do to this. Like, I think I want to put onboard air, probably get a welder and oxygen bottles, probably a place to mount my toolbox, and I don't know, a bunch of things. I don't know, I might cut the lights out and reverse each panel, just because I like on the bottom for the lights to be cocked the other way, and on the top I like that way. So I may leave them, or I may make them turned. I don't know what all yet. I'll get to that once it's actually mounted. So without further ado, let's start this thing. That's a little odd. It usually doesn't blow white smoke, but oh well. Alright, so I'm going to go over a couple of things I'd like to change about the truck and then tell you what all I plan to do with the bed. I think I'd like to get some new headlights, put some cab lights on it, yank this dealio off and throw a full bumper replacement like a ranch hand, leave the front the setup it is, put mud tires on it with the dually wheel of this style on the back. Just an aluminum dually wheel on the back with the big holes in it, just so it matches kind of, but I'll leave the single tire up front because that's not a dually rim. I have some Dodge tow mirrors that were sitting around I wanted to put on a flatbed Ranger I had, but I don't plan on keeping this cab on this truck always. Hopefully someday I'll put a 70s era crew cab on top of here if I keep the truck. So since I have some Dodge tow mirrors sitting around, I think I might just go ahead and throw a plate on here and put Dodge tow mirrors on it. Just for a video, we'll probably throw those stacks over there, on top of this for a little while, just for a video, and pull them off. Maybe step boards, maybe not. I think that's all I wanted to do cab-wise on this thing. And then as for the bed, it needs mounted and needs moved forward. I have some trailer fenders that I'd like to rip this rubber thing off, put the trailer fender in here, and then box it all in with metal and make it all match up. It has the nice toolboxes on the side, has the torch bottle holes, but on this bed somewhere, I think I might try to throw a battery in the bed somewhere to give me extra battery power, and also just for jumping other things. Put the fenders on here. I would like to add onboard air, hopefully air tanks underneath the bed, and hopefully maybe just somewhere on it where a hose reel comes out of the bed and the reel system's underneath the bed. Because I like keeping a fairly clean bed. That toolbox will probably eventually come off. I'd like to have 2 oxygen bottles and 1 acetylene bottle, a welder, the BMW hitch put in the bed right here, and maybe underneath the bed a support with a ball with a nut to thread in a ball back here in case there's a welder on it or something to where I cannot hook a trailer on that ball. Like I said, maybe flipping the lights, which would just be chop out a square, and swap them. Somewhere back here, probably on these sides somewhere, I'd like to put 2 hitches to add like a vise or a rollout on the back. I'm probably gonna have to cut off this hitch to put the bed on, but I'll probably add another receiver somewhere, probably off of the bed. I don't know if I will someday. I might recess the tag because I like recessed tags. And if I can anywhere on here, I might just try to build more space underneath the bed. Like maybe cut out here and put a toolbox into there. I don't know if there's room here, maybe cut out here and put a toolbox in there. And then I'll probably leave the headache rack the way it is, but I'd like to maybe put lights up top on the headache rack. And as far as my brain's letting me think at the moment, that might be all I want to do to this. Other than add my actual work toolbox on here, and then maybe add another toolbox for things that'll stay on the truck. I don't know. I might have room with this stuff. Oh yeah, I need to also cut out spots for filler necks. I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna do that yet. I have 2 filler necks. And I'll weld D-rings probably on here to tie stuff to. And then, I don't know if I'll keep these or make some myself. They're kind of cool. And I may make some setup to where I could attach gen poles and an electric winch. It wouldn't be a permanent thing, it'd just be something I'd take on and off. But I might do that because that could come in handy. And it needs new trailer plugs, but that's just part of it. Oh yeah, and I want to put big mud flaps on it. And I do like mud flaps all the way at the back of the bed. But with these having the fender that's going to be extended right here, I will need to keep the mud flaps forward for it to look right. But I'll put big new mud flaps on it. Oh, and I'll probably take these things out. It's kind of cool. I didn't realize they had this style. These style are actually what comes on the factory dually beds for these, are those exact lights, so that's kind of cool. But I'll probably put a little bar coming out here in front of the trailer fender I'm going to put on either side. Just kind of like a car trailer has, a square bar with a chicken light in it. And I might go ahead and put some lights on the headache rack and stuff for chicken lights. And I might also attach a work LED light bar. Maybe facing forward, a curved one with a flat one on the inside of it facing towards the back. I don't know, I'm not sure yet, but put some lights on this to light things up at night. Try to make it a pretty versatile work truck. And for a little while I might leave this box on here, but eventually I'll probably cut it off. And this looks like someone had a hose reel here. Probably end up cutting that thing off. Not the little part, but the whole thing. There's what those look like if you're wondering. So I might have room for I was gonna think a hose reel up here, but yeah, these are here, so that wouldn't work. So I don't know quite yet what all, but that's kind of my general idea. And then I'm thinking about just notching, like just cutting straight down here and here, putting the bottom, and make this whole thing just flip up with my fuel neck down in there. Not certain on that, we'll just have to work on it and see. So I'm gonna get to looking at it and see what all I need to do, what I actually need to cut underneath, get this picked up off of here and get started on it. So we'll get into that. And for any of you that are wondering why we haven't been working on this F700 with a triple nickel Cummins V8 Cummins diesel motor in it, it's because it got taken over by wasps. These little blue guys are all over it. There's one on the tire. There's just a bunch on this thing. They're crawling all over it. So that's why. Just kidding, that's not why. Just haven't had time or money to play with that yet. So would have liked to, but the biggest thing, because we already have a lot of parts for it, needs a lot of fab work at the moment, but just lacking on time at the moment. I work a job I have to be there at 7 in the morning. I don't get home till about 7, so it doesn't leave much time when I'm doing all this other stuff too. Well, I'm not certain yet about the height. I think it'll probably be coming down about 3 inches. I will need to cut the hitch off. I haven't looked and see if I need to cut the frame off. It needs to go forward about 5 inches, and the frame on the inside of the bed is narrower than the frame on the truck. So there's some cross members I need to cut off, I know, because they'll hit the gas tank and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and pull off this rubber to give me a better look and get rid of it because I don't need it. I'm going to cut off this mud flap bracket because that won't work for me, and this one side doesn't have it anyway, so I'm gonna get started and pulling the rubber off and that mud flap bracket. All right, so we had the bed on top and measured out everything. We're gonna drop it down about 3 inches. So we had to cut the bottom out of here to make that not hit the frame. We had to remove the crossbar in here. We're gonna flip it on its side so it has clearance. We're gonna go ahead and chop these out while it's all freed up under here and more room to do that. And then we're gonna weld that bar back up in here and I think go on the truck with it. So I'm gonna get started with cutting these out. Well, got those both cut out either side. Guess I didn't get that piece off. Maybe I want to pull that off. And then cut the little brackets up there and cut the cross member out of it. So here in any minute we're gonna throw it back on the truck. Well, here's a little update where we're at. We decided to put the bed on 3 inches up to make the headache rack line up in the bottom of the cab pretty well. So we made these brackets out of 4-inch channel and just welded them straight to the truck. Had to disconnect the parking brake. So we're gonna have to put that back on there. Ended up cutting a hole out of the top. Oh yeah, we also had to cut the bottom off of the acetylene bottle thing to clear it dropping it down. And then I have this BMW hitch for an 04 Chevy. So far, the plan is to chop it off a little shorter. Remove that cross member and throw a plate in between the channel and then pop it up in there. Have to blow a hole through the side for the latch. And we're just gonna set the bed on top of those horseshoe things we put on there and just get it all leveled up and welded on. And all that, Also broke the skid steer window. So that's not fun. Might have caught it on video, maybe not. So I don't know if we'll continue on this more tonight or not, but next thing is throwing plates in the channel on the frame and putting that hitch in, and then it can go on the truck. Well, we found a good stopping point and it's the next day, so here's where we're at on it. We built these arches 3 inches up off the bed to place the bed rails on that bed, because those bed rails are in more than this. So we're gonna set it on here and get it all leveled up and weld it onto these. And then under here, at the very back, there needs to be some grinding and cutting done for old welds there that are in the way. And also there's a hole for the fifth wheel there. We're going to need to plate the inside of the C-channel there to put the B&W hitch up in there. And then once we get that all welded up in there, I think it's ready to get sat on the truck and welded to the truck. Well, here it is. It's on the truck. Still needs a lot of work, but it's on there. Not bad looking. Well, it's a couple days later, as usual, but I have the bed mounted up to the truck, so I'll give you a quick look around of it. It is not fully finished, but it is on the truck. I really like how this thing turned out. Headache rack fits it pretty good. Technically the body lines don't really line up. I don't know if it was made for this truck, probably not this kind of truck, but for not being made for this, everything fits up pretty nice. The angle of the headache rack fits the contour of the body pretty well. It's kind of cool how it has this plate coming from this line going down to the surface of the bed, and then just the angles on it. Granted, that angle should be right there, but it matches kind of good in my opinion. I really like how it turned out. Later on, I will be making the fuel necks work and putting the fenders on here. I have a lot of plans later on for this bed. I'll probably make another video getting the lights working, making the fuel necks work, and adding the fenders on. And then after that, it'll probably just be videos here and there of different random projects on this, add-ons I want to do and things I want to change. But for now, it looks pretty good. And I think this is going to be a good stopping point for me on making this video. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. And all the support you guys send our way is appreciated. All the likes, subscribes, and comments. We love it from you guys. Thank you very much. And we'll catch you on the next one, the Black Diesel Garage. See you guys. I really like this thing. When I bought it, I kind of liked it, but I didn't like it. The real reason I liked it is just because it was a crew cab 4-wheel drive dual. I liked how big it was. Of course, it looked like real junk when I bought it, but I liked how big it was, and that it was a 4x4.